Let's get this music going real quick. All right. Make yourselves comfortable. We're gonna play a little bit of music. You dig? All right. We got a late night show. Peace to the fam.
World full of busy bees working. I ain't never met a free person. I don't get along with these earthlings. I'm trying to seek purpose, fight for something I believe's worth it. For the curse, I'ma reverse it. I don't dream cause I sleep nervous. Yet I keep flirting, face death like a Steve Irwin. Whole heat, I'ma drink thermos. Tell the bartender keep serving. I'm trying to be perfect, using dirty shit to clean dirt with. Only happy when the weed burning. Traded oxygen to breathe herb in. Smoke till I see curtains. Lungs fail and they cease working. There is something that I need urgent. Suffocating, trying to squeeze words in. What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test, final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest, so much harder than my last track. Mad blessed, hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address, down on my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Swear this shit is got me mad stress. I inherited my dad's debt, never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left. I let the record show, I let the tech explode. Put up the weapon show, pull up the Texaco, Narcos in Mexico, call up the technical, they know the text will blow. Shot the Plexico, turn you to vegetable, body electrical, acid and alkaline, body so flexible. The shooter's feast like a Uber East, got a group of these shooting these Cuda bees, while letting the Uzi and Ruger speak. An American got up in Cuba eats, the powers they seek and powers that we, they follow and creeps, powers that be, inherit the world from cows and sheep, spit to the mountaintop towers and peaks, flowers and sweets and shower down feet, the lightning and thunder that shower the sweets, shower the D's, this not a verse, just shower receipts. What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test, final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest, so much harder than my last track. Mad blessed, hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address, down on my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Swear this shit has got me mad stress. I inherited my dad's debt, never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left. Like a track finish, I attract women, they the bad women. I'ma splash in them, leave a bag with them. And I raise seeds to be mad different. If I die now, I'm coming back in them. Cause they damn missing, but they cash dripping. Cause they royalty, so they brag different. Ain't no ass kissing, never had feelings. Seen a white victim and a black victim. Gat ripping on my last mission. Gat sipping, blowing blackism. Gat missing, he was lax slipping. Smack hit him, now he act different. Actorition, the bad vision. The Mac is just him, the crash the system. Uncle Tom, cause you that willing. Fuck the law, I'm going back to living. Astral prisons, a black religion. Activisms, conversations. Sacrilegious, the palms of Satan. Black magicians, Babylon are racing. Raising our hands to the God we praising. Hustling, the marathon we racing. Nipsey at the finish line, he waiting. What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test.
Yo, that song, Real Talk, it gets better the more I play it. There's not a lot of songs like that. Prince is one of those songs. Made for This, Mimosa Samosa, Last Breath, and a few other songs. They get better every time I play it versus you start wearing off and you be like, all right, I heard that enough. It's a difference. It shit hit differently. Yeah. 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 Don't let me go and grab that. I'm about to go get the crown before the night is over. We're going to pull out some Kings County items because, yeah, this is some new drip. You dig? This is some new drip right here. You know, we got the holiday season. Yeah, Ganesh is with us tonight. You dig? We got Ganesh in the building. You know, Third Eye Thursdays. Third Eye Thursdays. Yeah, let's do this roll call. Yeah, Houston is in the building. Houston is in the building. Yeah, that Paisley. Harlem is in the building. North Carolina. All right. Long Island. Tucson. 323. Colorado's in the building. North Carolina's in the building. Jersey's in the building. South Carolina's in. Woo! VA, Douglasville, Georgia. Leesburg, Virginia. Fayetteville is in the building. It's going fast, y'all. 707. Los Angeles in the building. Washington by way of New York. You already know. 305. All right, in the building. Phoenix City, Alabama. Lafayette, Louisiana. Philly is in the building. Rwanda's in the building. Houston in the building. 317. Indianapolis, Naptown. Largo, Florida. 704. Jersey. Decatur, where it's greater. Charlotte, North Miami. 305. Deming, North Carolina. New Mexico. 717. 925. Pittsburgh. Detroit, Grenada, Brockton, Massachusetts, Louisville, Kentucky, all right, Long Island, Houston by way of LA, DC, what up? Lowell, Jamaica, Queens, what's happening? Hawaii, the Easy Complex, OKC, College Park, all right, Hackney, wait, man from Hackney, London, mine's not hot from Hackney, 423, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Hollandale Beach, Florida. 505, Norfolk, Virginia, what up, dope? Vancouver, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Saudi Arabia, Dallas, Triple D that. Yeah, let's go. Connect Canada, Vancouver, Timbuktu, Caribbean. Okay, shout out to you. 202 is in the building. Seattle in the building. NYC. Oh, you already know the vibes, New York. You already know what it is. Roll up. You know, the whole family is here. That's right. Pittsburgh is in the building. Yeah. Sunshine State, Florida is in the building. Boston's in the building. Bloomfield, Connecticut, CT. Shout out to CT. Stand up. Acres Homes in Houston. Brooklyn is in the house. Yeah, the ley lines are definitely activating. You already know. ATL, East Point. So it's important that everybody that's involved in a roll call hears where everybody else is domiciling at. So you know when you know that you're connected via a ley line or via a grid or via an energy connection, right? And all of us are connected through the mind first, and then through our electrical bodies and stuff like that. So just focus on that aspect whenever you tap into large gatherings of melanated, conscious, high frequency, light sentient beings. Phoenix, Arizona, Barbados. You dig what I'm saying? In the near future, we're gonna be doing. We could become even more accurate with our locations and even draw and show you a graph, a grid of all of the locations of everybody that's watching the streams. You know that's coming real soon. A little bit of artificial, sprinkle some AI. You know what I'm talking about in the program, and we're gonna start seeing some things change around here. You know, did I see the impeachment? Nah, I didn't see that. I didn't tune into the impeachment. What I did tune into over this weekend, hold on, let me get the drip in focus. We gotta, hold on. Can't leave the drip out of focus. We gotta keep it in focus. Okay, there we go. So, what happened this weekend was I checked out a series on Netflix, right? First of all, I checked out The Godfather of Harlem, Bumpy and Malcolm riding through Harlem. That's a very interesting storyline that they're building up. You know what I'm talking about? In the Godfather of Harlem series on Epics. I believe that's what it's called. I got the free trial series, I guess. And they got Bumpy and Malcolm like really chilling with each other. I'm talking about, they crimies, they day ones, like they really are working hand in hand, and they're low key giving out a blueprint, right? They're introducing, you know, Malcolm X into a whole nother new audience, a genre, you know. It's a different twist that we necessarily don't see, um, you know, in the movies or even on these shows and whatnot. So, I mean, it's a good story. But this thing that I caught on Netflix was about the 70s. There's a series on Netflix, and they talk about the 70s, right? I was like, I'm gonna check this out. I was born in 1975, of course, and a lot of things that happened in the 70s, I'm still familiarizing, or I'm still gathering data, because this is about data. This is about data. This is about getting as much information as you need in order to collect it, in order to create a mental image, in order to really tap into the times, in order to really figure some things out, you know. And this is a very interesting series because I've always been a component. I've always been very, very adamant about the 70s. The beauty of it, the mystery of it, the the threshold that it represented, because of the fact that when you look back, we're not that far ahead. It's only 2020. It's not like we're in 3020 and whatnot. And these are conversations that we need to have. When I say 3020, we should have a vision of how we look. When I say 4020, we should know what we look like. There was a conversation that Vlad, I don't want to get off subject, but Vlad and I believe TK Kirkland was having, and they were talking about the difference between people who have money or who have wealth versus people who are considered to be poor. People who are poor are only thinking 2 days ahead. They are not visionaries. They're not looking into 100-year planning. They're not visualizing us in 500 years. They don't have that kind of vision. Billionaires and trillionaires and some millionaires, on the other hand, they have the access, they have the resources, and they have that vision where they're looking 500, they're looking multiple hundreds of years down the line. That is extremely important when it comes to where we are as a community and as a network and as a people. I can't speak and vouch for, talk for anybody else. We, first of all, just we on this damn stream right now. Nobody else. Just we, I feel, have an obligation to where, you know, we tap in. You know, we're in a very good place. Conscious community, woke community, whatever they want, FBA, ADOS, whatever the new factions or whatever the new groups or whatever the new names, and I'm not saying it in no facetious way, but everything collectively is still one. So I'm saying that there's no name in reality for this. But we collectively, all of the different organizations, which represents the different organs of the body, which represents the different organs of a band, you know, the big band. They talk about the big band days. You know what I mean? When all of the bands were playing, you know, together in symphony and whatnot. Cab Calloway's big band, Louis Armstrong's big band and whatnot. And, you know, here you had these well dressed black men, right? Very disciplined, working as a team, right? Working as a machine, right? Duke Ellington, legendary big bands and whatnot, but they were working as teams. They were working collectively. They were working as a unit. They were working as a crew. They were working as a nucleus. They were working as they were working as a trifecta. It was sometimes it was five of them, you know, and they were going in and doing their thing. And then yeah, John Coltrane, the legends, Miles Davis, everyone in harmony. And even when you had the singing groups, you know what I mean, and they were well dressed and they were still in European fashion, right? Look at the irony in the whole thing. We're gonna do a little bit of time traveling tonight, y'all. This is episode 85. You know, I'm very excited that we've gotten this far. You know, we've put in a lot of these Mondays, mean a lot to me, and these Thursdays, along with the Tuesdays and Fridays that we dedicated Know the Ledge Radio to, right? Real quick, let me show y'all the new banner. We got a lot of stuff coming in 2020, but tell me how y'all like this. The Know the Ledge Radio project is gonna be bananas, you know. So the idea family, right? I got something else I'm gonna show y'all. I'm a little bootleg right now because I didn't upload. I bought the software, but I didn't load it up to where I could do like the intros and everything. But I'm gonna show you an intro that we got. It's gonna be on the beginning of the shows. Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's gonna be the intro for the videos when we start moving forward into, you know, episodes 88, 87, 89. This whole thing is gonna level up and change from the format that you see right now. You know, my intentions going into 2020 is gonna be a lot different than, or rather, my branding or my rebranding in 2020 is just going to be different than what it is right now because all everything is about change. One thing that's constant is change. So you got to be the change that you want to see, right? And the best thing that you can do in this reality to be in sequence with time is to change, right? Got to change your hairdo, right, ladies? Y'all switch it up. Y'all switch it up. Y'all not the same person all the time, every day. You are subject to change. You know, you're subject to switch it up. The hair color switches up. Sometimes you go to Dominican Republic, we think you're going to feed the orphans, and you come back, the body doesn't change. Everything is different. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? You know, shit hit differently now. Um, so we're gonna change. We change it for the better. We're gonna turn this thing into a media outlet that's gonna feed the people the food that they need. You know, we do these shows on Mondays and Thursdays, but more programming, more scripted programming, and more you know, more niche based programming is a possibility that we could bring not just to this channel right here because this is a cute channel. I like the YouTube platform, But it's been made apparent that these people don't want us in their house. The parents that own the house called YouTube have made it very clear that although you could stay in the house, nigga, you're gonna have to abide by all my rules. And they coming downstairs with white man rules, white people rules. You know what I'm talking about? They coming in the house with white folk rules, telling you that you can't curse, telling you that you can't talk about their Ashkenazi friends, telling you that you can't talk about people with broken wrists, telling you that you can't deny the Holocaust, telling you that you can't talk about vaccinations and the dangers, and you can't say anything about Monsanto. And you know how many restrictions about to get rolled out? They about to tie people's tongues. They're gonna say you're gonna dance for that peanut check that we be cashing you niggas. You gonna dance for them cashews that we be cashing you niggas. We gonna make you dance for it. You know what I mean? Y'all got away. You got in enough. You got in a whole decade of unfiltered, you know, information. What is constant? Change. The playing field, thus the matrix, thus this program, it has to 2.0. It has to change. Be willing to go with the change, my niggas. Get on your surfboards, do your research, and follow the innovators who are the ones who have done the research, sacrifice the hours upon hours and days and resources and currency to build up these platforms that we can all jump over to, even while we lollygag and we play around and we rendezvous on these unfriendly sites, because this is not a friendly site. And to keep it 1000 with you, it's a lose win, because these people own this content. Our content is owned by them, right? They're monetizing the fuck out of everything that we're doing on their platform. So they're getting rich inside of the free economy, share economy, right? You're getting your dopamine, right? You're getting your dopamine, you're getting your you're getting your audience, whatever it may be, from 8 to 8 million, nigga. You could get as many people as you want, you know. You're gonna get your peanut check that they cash for you, your cashew check, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna throw you something every month. And they're gonna walk away with your data in the bag, my nigga. And your intellectual and your creative content, aka your intellectual property, aka nigga, the MP4 of whatever you put up on their platform. They own it. So I'm not pressed to, make this the motherfucking the resting my nest. I don't want to build my nest here. I don't want to make this my home. I don't feel like unpacking my box because I got a whole lot of stuff, right? I got a whole lot of information. I got a whole lot of lectures that I've done. I mean, I've traveled around the world. You see, when I come back, I don't put lectures on YouTube because there's certain things that they will not own of mine. They will not have their hands, their filthy hands. I sacrifice and I throw a few up there, right? I put a few on YouTube, but you're not going to get mine. No, you're not going to get my work. You're not going to get my research. You're not going to, can't own that. Technically, you own it, you're reaching. All right. So, years from now, when, whatever the story gets told of what red pill and blue pill, the twin pillars, mama pill, and I'm going to get this footage, I want to take access of YouTube footage and use it in a movie or a documentary, right? Or anything that I want to do, I won't be able to do that without going through YouTube, because they will claim ownership over this property, right? They'll claim ownership over this property, which I agreed to in the agreements to basically say that you own this shit. So what are you talking about? I know you got to look. I got all my videos in the drive. I got them backed up. I'm not talking about that aspect. I'm talking about real life shit, like when the real world type of thing. When you're using, when you have to go up against lawyers and lawyers get involved when you do projects and stuff like that. And the real paperwork is real, you know. This ain't about slipping through the cracks. This is about putting together some stuff, but knowing that you can own your property on your website. It's about ownership. This is about being able to say, at least I own something. Amazon own your books, YouTube own your videos, Instagram own your goddamn photos and your videos. OnlyFans, they own all of your explicit ratchetness. Everybody owns a piece of you. Google owns all of your searches, all of your queries. Alexa owns all of your conversations and all of the questions that you ask her when y'all alone together. Siri jumps in there as well. She owns you. She owns pieces of your ass. You know, and this is all in agreement. This is all contracts. You signed up. We all signed up. I'm not singling out myself. We don't know what the hell we agreed to in the agreements. So these are facts. This is not me making it up. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that go talk to Siri right now after the show is finished, and do the do your due diligence, do your journalism. Facebook owns all of your status updates, all of those pictures. A lot of people own you. What do you own of yourself? That's the only question, because there's a lot of pieces of the pie that people are eating. All I'm saying is, what piece of the pie are you willing to say, I'm gonna just hold on to this piece? So I've decided to hold on a whole goddamn hard drive full of information and full of content to say, I'm gonna hold on to this piece. You know what I mean? So 2020, Notre Ledge University, KTL University, facts2020.org, the 10-year anniversary of Notre Ledge Radio. So many things are going to be rolling out. So yeah, the family will benefit, and they will greatly benefit off of the stuff that we're about to give them. You know, and then it's just going to be on another level. That's right, clear vision. So clear vision is clear graphics, clear cameras, clear audio, clear microphones, clear minds. You know what I'm talking about? And we'll see you niggas at the Clearport. You know? We'll see you at the Clearport. It's a global affair. You know what I'm saying? The initiative is Four Corners. There's Facts 2020, but the initiative is Four Corners. The Four Corners is USA, UK, Caribbean, Africa. You know what I'm talking about? We set that off inside of Parliament right there in United Kingdoms, when we united the kingdoms, when we sat down with an African queen, an African king, and multiple master teacher and Infudishi, 19 keys representing the shifters, red and blue pill representing consciousness in the community, and a bunch of other people. And we put it, we went in, we did what we had to do. So we're in movement, right? The train has left the station. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, we're definitely in movement right now, you know. And you don't get out, you don't hop out the gate sprinting. You dig? You hop out the gate, on a pimp stroke. You hop out laid back. So yeah, we working. Shout out to my brother Ben Gordon. Shout out to Cambada. Shout out to eBay. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Songbird. We had some monumental sessions this weekend. You know what I'm talking about? In the studio, we put some things together. We got some work. Um, it's good it feels good to be back in the kitchen. You know, it feels good to be back on the stove. I took a little hiatus for a minute to work on some things. But, if it don't sound like last breath, I don't want to put it out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm real particular right now. There's a certain sound that I'm aiming for. But the initial you know, the initial work is fire. You know what I mean? The shit that we put together is dope. You know what I mean? It's some real powerful material. Cambada's a genius. You know what I'm saying? I'll go on record saying that. He's a musical genius. You know, I told him his name should be Frequency. That should be his producer name, Frequency, because he got that Quincy Jones. He got an ear. You know what I'm saying? And he knows some formulas that the average person in the music, because you got the music business, you got the music industry, and then you got music. You know what I'm saying? Well, the music, the College of Music, like son got his degree, you know, and I'm learning every time I plug in. So yeah, that's what's up. I done booked about 4 lectures this week. So we're gonna be talking about those, some powerful, some real interesting team ups, you know, and you know, we got some things working out. We just waiting for the ink to dry. You dig? But yeah, the 70s series was interesting, man. Let's talk about the 70s series and let's talk about the power of the 70s. Like I said, the 70s is the bridge because society began to change. We're talking about change. When we said change, we mean seismic changes. We're talking culture shifts. We're speaking about when the Matrix or when the code or when the script, when there was a plot twist or when there was a quote unquote chapter closing and then there's an opening of a new chapter. The 60s is the opening of a new chapter in American history. The 60s is the opening of a new chapter in global history and world history. The 60s is a time of revolution, of evolution, of music, of free sex, of experimentation, and of dope, you know what I mean? Of war and of the quote unquote tearing or the stripping or the collapsing of the former paradigm. You know what I mean? That paradigm was being deleted. You know, the 30s, the 40s, Pleasantville, you know I'm talking about? That you know, women are supposed to be a certain kind of way and you know men are supposed to be a certain, even though heavy gangster influences, heavy mob shit, heavy gangster shit, you know, prohibition, all of that exists. The roaring 20s. So it's been lit since forever. But the 70s is a bridge because the 60s, you know, and the 80s, right in between those, you know, the 70s is where a lot of things happen. A lot, a lot. A lot of programs were implemented and basically reinforced that are still at play today. And one of the things that watching the documentary showed me is that we're in these cycles and this whole thing is a loop and it's centrifugal and it's almost like Groundhog Day because what was popping in the 70s is popping right now. This conversation that we're having stemmed from somebody asking me did I see the impeachment hearings today with Donald Trump. And I was like, nah, you know why? Because the other night I was watching the Richard Nixon impeachment hearings in his day on the 70s special because that dominated the early part of the 70s with Watergate and with Nixon and with Tricky Dicky and with him being with him having to step down, right? It beginning to unravel at a pace where you know the country was basically you know tied. They were fixated with the whole Watergate scandal. Their realities were being shattered. Why? Because the JFK murder, the Martin Luther King, the Malcolm X, all of these murders shattered, right? I'm talking about completely shattered the minds of that generation, traumatized them. I'm talking back to back to back murders. Let's talk about PTSD. Let's talk about the fact that these were true ADOSs that were living in the big cities like Detroit, like Chicago, like New York. All of these people were the descendants of Southern black folk who were migrating. We also had people, yeah, but the majority of these people that were inhabiting these cities and whatnot, these were people who were coming from the South. So the remnants of chattel slavery, the trauma was still inside of the DNA. So in these big cities and these concrete jungles and whatnot, you know what I mean? And then when these assassinations begin to take place of RFK, JFK, Martin Luther, Malcolm X, a lot of the people, you know, the baby boomers, they call them the boomers, right? They were traumatized. They were losing faith, right? They were losing faith. The program of Americana, the program that they successfully were able to, you know, run until, of course, the Great Depression, when the shit start breaking down. You dig? And then they come with Hollywood and the drug scourge or the drug plague, or some people will call it the drug age and whatnot. You know, starting with that doogie, right? That horse, right? The opium, the dope, nigga, the dog food, right? Coming with that doogie, you know, and basically the same thing that they did in Asia, right? The same thing that they did to China, right? They came with that doogie, right? So the same thing that was going on, because in the 60s, I'm talking about before the 60s, but going back to the 70s with the series that I'm watching, the big drug in the streets that had everybody on their ass, right? And was raising up gangsters amongst our people who became the kingpins, like the Nicky Barnes, like the Frank Matthews and Lucases and whatnot, like the Nick. This was after Bumpy, but it was that Doogie, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? And it was that white girl, nigga. The Princess Zelda, nigga. That white girl. That's what it was. And it was the weed as well. But it was that Doogie, that Heron, King Heroin or King Heron was knocking niggas on their ass in the 70s, and it's knocking them on their ass today. Nixon was being impeached and the world was finding out that he was a criminal, although people were, of course, were suspecting it. But this was a man who was reelected in a landslide, even with the controversy. The people wanted to believe in him. He was a piece of shit, but white people apparently loved that nigga. Tricky Dicky, what they called him, right? And then fast forward today, Ronald McDonald, the clown in the White House, President Cheetos, he's a goddamn filthy crook, closet neo-Nazi Grand Dragon undercover, you know, porn star appetite. Like, dude is just off the chain. But he's also, you know, um, he's also manic. He's a sociopath, right? And he has infected the flock. He is infected. He's given his army of savages, you know, a pass, an excuse to be as savage as they want to be, because the commander in chief is, he has the press behind him to nail to program into the subconsciousness of his standing armies, both domestic and international and militia, that nigga, I'm a savage. You know what I'm talking about? The press helped him with that. Everybody is on deck with him to show It's a trigger. That's why you got all these shootings. They feel like, remember the movie The Joker, which happens to be the highest grossing superhero movie ever, right? Go figure. But in a Joker, he was feeding off of the energy at the end, right? Where he becomes the Joker after catching bodies and, basically going to a life of crime, going to the dark side. He's like, yo, the Joker is getting stronger, right? The Joker is getting more confident because he knows more people are watching him, and he's inspiring other Jokers to get crazy and go mad and to catch stains and put points on the board, right? These are his shooters, right? The same way that the Joker inspired somebody to go and shoot Bruce Wayne's father, right? Donald Trump and his Joker shit, he's inspiring the Waffle House shooter. He's inspiring a lot of these killers who are running around, the El Paso shooter, a few other people who are out here being inspired by his sociopath ramblings, his rants. You understand? His dog whistles, you know, the dog whistles. I'm talking about his standing army. Not you niggas who be riding on his coattail that are melanated that just want to get a seat at the table for some butter biscuits. I'm talking about the army. I'm talking about the people who put in work. I'm talking about these people who are out here catching bodies, nigga. What you talking about? It's a laundry list of shootings, mass shootings and whatnot, and they're tied into people who are riding for Trump. What is you saying? You know? And unfortunately, some people are so deep in a sunken place and they're so susceptible to marketing and commercials and promotions that they buy into the narrative of Donald Trump, or they buy into the narrative that this president isn't so bad, or this president isn't so de facto, or this president isn't such a goddamn joke and a moron, right? The same way that Richard Nixon was a moron and a joke and a criminal and a racist and a narcissist and a warmonger, you know. So the similarities with the 70s, let's get back to those examples. Then you see the ERA, the women's rights movement that dominated the 70s. Women having rights, women being equal, women having the right to abort their children, the right to choose. Big things are going. Women standing up and saying we want to work. Women saying that we want equal pay. The ERA, Equal Rights Act, right? The rise of the Gloria Steinems, the rise of the feminist movement, right? And even the juxtaposition of the feminist movement and the Black Power movement, and how a lot of our women, a lot of the women, the frontliners of the Black Power movement that rose up out of the 60s, were heavily influenced and swayed by the women movements. Okay, and they were batteries, they gave them their energy, and they played a big part once again in fueling the agenda of something that was foreign to black women in particular, because they weren't going through the same situations that the Europeans were going through. So then you fast forward to where we're at almost 50 years later, right? We're almost like 40 years later, and right between a 40 and 50-year cycle. Feminism 2.0, this is something that has dominated the headlines, has dominated the news cycles, has dominated popular culture, has dominated social media, this quote unquote gender war, or this quote unquote rise of feminism 2.0, this quote unquote, and the pushing and the sanctioning for, new legislation, more legislations, the whole thing about the abortions being challenged in Alabama and things of that nature, so that's a whole loop, right? Somebody said the rise of Meg the Stallion. Well, Meg the Stallion, the rise of Meg the Stallion, let's get deeper into it, because along with we have to along with the women's rights movement, you had the rise of what was known as counterculture. Now, if counterculture in 2019 is what's not dominant in the narrative, this is about this is the timeline. This is the narrative. Okay? This is the narrative. This is about change the narrative. Shout out to Omarion. He's a legend. Okay? He's making that statement very famous and very adaptable by the knuckle draggers. You know, he fed them he fed them some medicine inside of the steak. So the narrative is about LBGT rights. That's counterculture. The counterculture in the 70s was about the gay rights, was about the rise of the LBGT. So here you are 50 years into Stonewall, and you have the same conversation being had now in a place where pedophilia is being, lobbied, right? Pedophilia is being lobbied. Um, Bestiality is being lobbied, right? There are different things that are being lobbied for now, but the impact and the quote unquote cultural influence and the political influence that the LBGT party has is in direct connection with the cycle that they had in the 70s when they were coming up. Harvey, they showed a clip about Harvey Milk, I believe he was, that's his name. And he basically, it's almost like he was the one who kind of kicked in the door for openly gay white men to be in offices of politics, political office rather. So then, on top of that, you had what was called the free love movement, right? In the 70s. Women liberation, right? But that was coinciding with the free love movement. Translation, niggas, you could fuck for free. You know what I'm talking about? You know, women from the 60s, I mean from the, the archetype of how women were carrying themselves in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, not to have sex before you're married. It was taboo to, to be um to be open about fornication, right? In the eras before that. But the 60s began to disrupt that, and the 70s took that shit completely to the cleaners and washed it out. And here you have the free love movement. Thank you, Lord Swank, for that cash app. I appreciate you. So now you have the free love movement where these European women mostly were basically, you know, tapping into their former selves, right? This was almost them releasing themselves, releasing the Kraken, right? You know, because in Europe, and especially during Moorish times, and in other situations as well, there has been a lot of written accounts of the promiscuity and the sexual nature of European women, right? So now they were allowed to basically come out of their shells and just let it all hang out. And here you have the free love movement where basically it was just a lot of sex. Fast forward to 2019, what do you see? You see the hoes is winning culture, the whole culture. the free sex culture, the what DTF, down to fuck, you know, the online, the Tinder, the online dating boom, the dot culture, right? The online, the Pornhub with the PayPal, the swipe, the OnlyFans, the swipe up, the rise in prostitution, um, the rise in sex trafficking, right? All of these things. And even in the 70s, you had situations dealing with sex trafficking. You have situations dealing with prostitution. Prostitution was being normalized and accepted, and it was almost being, legitimized in the 70s via legislation that was allowing the theaters on 42nd Street to show the smut, right? All of the peep shows, right? And the Playboys and the challenges that Hugh Hefner and what's the dude in the wheelchair, Larry Flint, what they were going through to push for um, the um, the acceptance of pornography. Fast forward to today, you have soft pornography on social media, right? I don't know. I mean, I done cleaned up my Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I gave my Twitter a detox, and I got rid of a lot of the lower energy, lower frequency smut shit that was going on. But there was a time when I would go through my Twitter innocently, and I don't follow no porn site pages or nothing. But I would scroll through my Twitter, and there would be clips of, you know what I'm talking about, of motherfuckers getting down. Like it would be clips of some pornography going through my timelines. So we live in a day and age now where it's not in dark theaters. It's not hidden inside of quote unquote showrooms or token booths and whatnot. It's right on your it's right on your phone. It's in social media where even little children have access to seeing shit like that. You go on Instagram, it's wild, bad shorties, you know what I'm saying, selling themselves. You know what I mean? You go on other places, they're selling themselves in other ways. But what was basically popping in the 70s, right? It's been magnified to a degree to where it's popping now, right? So prostitution is being encouraged in popular culture. Prostitution is being encouraged by the artists, the music, the billionaire, millionaire artists that are out here singing to people, rapping to people, and all of that. They're even in their social, they're encouraging sex workers, sex working, and things of that nature. I'm I'm just showing you the comparisons. Go back in the time machine into the 70s. That culture was accepted because pimp culture and all of their women who would be the dancers of today or the porn stars of today or the sex workers of today because they were sex workers. And if they had an Instagram back in those days, I'm sure that those women, if they had their profiles on that Instagram, they would have mad followers because those were some beautiful women. You know, those women had a, I'm sure those women were very magnetic, you know, along with other black women from all walks of life. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying. And of course, the 70s, in my humble opinion, had the most beautiful. That was the time, according to the pictures, that black women in particular looked the most beautiful. There's so many other eras where they were gorgeous. They were stunning. But the 70s, there's something about the 70s, that it produced a beauty in our women that I haven't seen since. You know, you know. So then We covered the drugs in the 70s, right? With the doogie, right? With the smack. Yeah, Pam Grier. I can't even tell you the level of crush I had on Pam Grier when I was a youth. You dig? When I was a youth. Now, hip hop started out in the park. We used to do it down in the dark. Hip hop was born in 1972. Hip hop really got its balls in 1975 and all of that. Fast forward to 2019. What's the number one genre? What's the most streamed? Who are the most talked about? Who are the most followed? It's hip hop as a viable culture. It's a dominant culture. It's a global culture. It's a galactical culture. It survived. They said it was going to die. They said it was dead. They said it would never leave New York. It's here. It's been integrated into society to where it is the fabric of society. You dig? But it's still part of that cycle. You go back and you look at the conditions of black people in the 70s. Poverty was rampant. Crime was rampant. Murders were rampant. Drugs were rampant. Unemployment rampant. Incarcerations rampant. Fast forward, get in the DeLorean, 2019. Crime rampant. Poverty rampant. Incarcerations rampant. Drugs rampant. So either nothing has changed to a degree that we could say, yo, we're gonna forecast into 500 years from now. You know what I mean? Either the plane has not left the goddamn airport, or we are in a continuous time loop. We're in a Groundhog's Day. You know, we're going into a circle. It's a cycle. It's like a pendulum swinging in a sense. But this shit is centrifugal because nothing is coincidence. Our brother Cosmo physician, Ra Ku, he could dissect this a little better than me and break this down and give you the science of the cosmos behind it. But this is not coincidental. The 70s were instrumental in the reality that we exist in right now. And I can't necessarily say the same for the 30s and the 40s. That's not the same timeline. But the 70s onward, this is something that we need to explore. And that series on Netflix is an interesting way to begin your exploration. Of course, they've shaved the. I'm sure that they've held back on some information, but goddamn it, any information is good information. You go ahead and do the rest of the research and dig deeper, you know. But it's a good series. It's a good series. You know? Okay, 444 watching. Shout out to all of the family. You know what? I'm going to get my African DNA test. You know, I didn't know what company to go with. I told y'all I tried out. I went ahead and folded and I tried out and they never sent me the results, y'all. Ancestry.com because my dad wanted me to do it with them. They never sent it back. What's the name of the series? Hold on, let me pull up Netflix. I'll tell you in a minute. Who got Disney X? I'm not buying Disney X, but I want to see the Mandalorian. You know, I don't think I'm invested in Disney X. You know what I'm talking about? But I do accept passwords. You know, we do that. But they basically are poised to take over. Netflix is about to Either they're gonna rise up and stay up, or they're gonna falter. It remains to be seen. But Disney is coming with that work with the Disney Plus, and you know, they just got an ill catalog. Like, they shit is up. They made the right purchases. They made the right investments, and it just gives, you know, hopefully for the visionaries who are amongst us, hopefully that gives somebody the incentive to say, you know what, we can make our own shit, man. Like Disney Plus is what it is, but no, nothing is stopping us from making our own behemoth, our own streaming original content, our own series, like our all of that stuff. There's nothing. There is not a thing. You know, could make it happen. I got a lot of faith in the people, man. If there's one thing that I know collectively as a collective, and not every single one of us, but enough of us, we have the collective intelligence to solve the 99 problems that our people have as a collective. We can do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it happen. You know, looking for the name of this damn documentary and I can't. So think tanks, right? Think tanks, you know, clean water, think tanks. This is what needs to be formed. If there's nothing out here showing us the need to communicate as leaders, the need to communicate as thought leaders, the need to communicate with each other, the need to really see each other face to face. Like, I can't support nobody that I never met. You know what I'm talking about? If I didn't shake your hand, that's why I be telling people, don't watch me, my nigga, witness me. You know what I mean? Don't just watch me on the internet. Come and pull up, my nigga. Let me see you eye to eye. I take these glasses off when it's time for that. We gonna see eye to eye. I'm gonna look you in your eyes, whoever it is. Don't watch me, my nigga. Witness me, and then you could get back to watching me. You know what I'm saying? But I encourage people, pull up, nigga. I've been saying this for more than 10 years. I've been telling people every time I get a chance to where I'm at, what I'm like, where I bees at. Like, come and pull up, my nigga. I'm on my post. Like, I be there. I'm right there. Or if you don't want to pull up, I'm coming to your city. Pull up and come and see me when I'm in your city. Make an hour or two, put an hour or two to the side, and pull up and come and chop it up with your boy. You might never see me ever again in your life, but at least I could say that I met you, and you could say that you met me. Cause like I said, it's important for me to know who the fuck I'm talking to. You dig what I'm saying? I need to know who I'm talking to because I'm talking to a camera. I haven't met anybody until I actually meet them. I don't know nobody until I shake your hand and we chopped it up. Be like, yo, what's good? What's good? What's poppin'? Ain't nothing. You smoke? Yeah, roll up. All right, cool. Like, it's just regular. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a regular person. Like, this, I'm not no Hollywood ass nigga. But we gonna go deep dive and pause. You know what I'm saying? We gonna match wits. The mind. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. But we have to be able to click. We got to be able to, you got to, and then I could get out there. And even that, and even that is not an easy way to eat. You can't even tell because it'd be a nigga that you sit down and break bread with and drink with, you know, and you think that you know who this person is and what this person is on, but you might be incorrect. So I would say ask questions. Don't be naive in any situation amongst anybody that you meet and you thinking something about this person. You think this person is on this mission, or you think this person has this agenda, or you think this person is about this kind of life, or you think this person is about the people. Or no, you need to ask that person, what's really good, bro? Like, what, there's some things you have to assess people. You just can't let anybody in. Yeah, be assertive. You know. But the '70s thing, there's so much more to uncover, um, that I was picking up when I was watching the documentary. That I'm still looking for the title right now, and you know, we'll cover it. I have it in one of my lectures. I have an online lecture coming at the end of November. I'm gonna have on Third Eye Thursdays, the next Third Eye Thursdays, I'm gonna have the Eventbrite link along with the title and the description of the upcoming lecture. But it's gonna be lit. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be chock full of information. I'm gonna get into information that I wasn't able to cover in the Ascension um, 2020 conference, along with new information that I've been picking up on because I'm still studying. I didn't stop studying after the initial studying for that lecture. It was so interesting that I kept going, and I've been making more breakthroughs. So this lecture is gonna be lit. You dig? And I'll have information on that by this Thursday coming up. Yeah, the collective is important. We gotta have dark matter think tanks. We have to find a way to utilize the technology that's right in front of us. We don't gotta go nowhere. We don't gotta wait for nothing. We don't have to sit around and anticipate shit. Everything is right here. It's all in our hands. That is a fact. I don't know how many times I could say it. I have to say it to myself sometimes just to, remind myself. Like, bro, everything that you need is really right here. It's all within your reach. It's all within your reach. Somebody said roll up. Nah, I can't roll up. You know why? Because that right there is you know, that's not something that I'm gonna be going into the 2020s doing either. You know, unless I'm selling the shit. You know what I'm saying? Unless this is something coming from my grow farm, I'm not smoking on my show. You know, Mm-mm. I can't find this documentary, but when I get the name of it, um, um, no, I didn't hear anything about his travels. When I get the name, you'll get the name, so you could go and watch it and whatnot. But it's good, my friends. It's good. Our people are some powerful people who have persevered and have, you know, stood the test of time. I was also watching the documentary on HBO about the Apollo. Did you see that? They have a documentary about the Apollo, and it just gives the history, man. Our history, our present day time is cool and everything, but god damn it, can't nobody take our history from us. You feel me? Nobody could take our history from us. Our history is one of our most priceless, um, treasuries. We persevere, bro. We got some great fucking stories right now. The rise of R&B, the rise of rap, the rise of jazz. All of these stories, bro. These are all American success stories. These are all American magical, you know, from the bottom to the top type of things. This is a mythos. This is prophecy. You feel me? And, and this is without being judgmental about what people do with their talents or what they don't do with their talents or what they um, have contracted to do, right? You know, I don't have nothing to say about shit like that because, to be honest with you, I can't speak for what nobody else do. I can only speak for myself, you know? But I know one thing. I know that black people, melanated people, African American, Negro colors, Moors, Aboriginals, Lenapes, whatever, we have persevered through some very hard times, some very trying tribulations, trials and tribulations. Um, and we have a long way to go in regards to getting ourselves back, into a place where, you know, we could get power. We could grab our power. Because if we don't got no power, we don't have anything. Because we are the power. So if we don't have power, we don't got ourselves. You dig? And you want to have control of yourself. This thing is about control, y'all. This thing is about being able to control, your thoughts, being able to control your diet, being able to control your movements, being able to control the currency, being able to control the narrative. You have to be able to control the narrative. You have to be able to steer the conversation in a direction that's beneficial, you know, to you. And if people got your name in their mouth, they need to change the narrative. If people are basically focusing on you when they should be focusing on them, then they need to change the narrative. They need to change what the hell is coming out of their mouths because people will try to create a narrative that's not real. And that's what we have overall on a global scale when it comes to our people, when it comes to our nation, when it comes to our tribe. You understand? We have to take more control of the narrative. We have to take more control of the narrative because the narrative, we need to own that. We need to own that. That is the programming. That is the actual programming. That's the meat of all of this. That's where the magic takes place in the programming. So that's something that we have. I mean, in the narrative. So we have to grab that shit by its horns and interject truth and interject unapologetic truth and interject light and interject logic and interject reason and interject our narrative. And I promise you, the reality that all of us live in will begin to change overnight. Okay? That's all facts. That is all facts. Don't let anybody tell you any differently. And one of the most powerful tools that you have in your hand right now is your cell phone, your smartphone. And like Blue Pill said tonight on Brother Rich's show, Black Magic 363, he did a classic episode that you have to go and check out. He covered a lot of things that are going on in the media, like the Kaepernick training, the ADOS versus the FBA, and a few other things. And he did it in a very blue pill like manner. But he made a statement that made so much sense that he said the most important um, icon in social media is the share button. He said the share button is a free app, and that free app allows you to basically take a person's uh, whether it's their status, whether it's a thought that they have, whether it's a content that they created, whether it's a story that they wrote. The share button is what takes your thing from 1 to 1 million. The share button is something that the collective owns. And the share button is where you create legends. Okay? It's the share button that makes shit go viral. It's the share button that gets information to you that you didn't know was out there. You know, along with the recommend, of course, but the share button is one of the most revolutionary tools that have been invented in the space of social media ever. Dopamines are released when people are sharing things, but especially when you hit the like button, they say that it's supposed to release dopamines in the human brain. That's why we are addicted to, um, reading comments or going live and seeing the hearts pop up and the likes and all of the thumbs and that's supposed to get us lit, you know. But that doesn't really do anything for me. You know, I can't get into my flow state. I can't get into a creative space. I can't make, I mean, I can get hype when I'm going in, when you're seeing all of that, all of the shit going. I'm not gonna lie, like that is fuel and whatnot. It does help. It's Sunoco. You know what I'm talking about? It is Sunoco. You know, and you can't tell your brain what not to do. So I'm sure that my brain is, feeding off of those dopamines when that's happening, you know. And you go in your flow. I go in my flow state like that. They call it going in. Oh, that nigga took off. He's going in. Oh, red is on fire. You know what I mean? That's the flow state. That's when, you know what I'm saying? That's when all of these neurotoxins are being secreted in my brain, and I tap into a flow. Like it's like being on the doogie, you know. Time slows down. Ideas are just downloading in front of me in slow motion like Tetris blocks. I could move shit and place it and do all it. You know, I'm solving equations on the side and whatnot. They got 90. All of these hard ass problems that niggas is. All of that shit is just being solved by quantum computers when I'm in my state. You know, so that does it for me. That does do it for me when I see people interacting and feeling it. It's all reciprocal. Remember, this conversation that we're having, the only way that you exist is in the chat room in emoji form or in your state and right there the shit that you type in. I can't see you. I can't hear you. I can't speak to you. You only exist through a like button and through a counter meter and through the motherfucking chat room, right? So you got to train yourself when you're having, because I'm this is a weird conversation, this is a weird form of communication that I'm having, even though it's considered to be revolutionary because I'm broadcasting in real time to hundreds and hundreds of people around the planet, right? and I don't belong to CBS or NBC. I'm my own broadcast company, and I'm able to speak to hundreds of people in real time. Do you know what we could do together if we were to breathe together? If we were to collectively think, or we were to collectively put something in a pot together? If we were collectively to brainstorm and to think tank some shit to mother and to solve some things? That's how it starts. This is how quote unquote movements. This is how history is made, in demonstrations like that. So it's all at our hand. All of this shit is in our hands. Nothing is stopping you niggas from sharing this on your page. The share button is revolutionary. The share button is how you make this. The share button is how the world knows about ADOS and FBA and all of that. It's because of it going viral based off of the continuance of the share. People are sharing it. They're moving it around. They're letting people know what it is. They're putting it in front of their faces. So when it comes time for us to do our work, family, I need you to know that simple formula. The best way to help out anything that I'm doing, or the best way to assist, is to share. Simple. You have no financial obligation. All you do is you could just share. You know, if there's a project that I'm doing, if there's an event, anything, make sure you share the flyer, share the video when it pops up, let people know what's going on, because of course we're getting ghosted on all of the networks. They're not, we don't pop up in recommendations anymore. Um, you can't really find us on a lot of these platforms because we're being ghosted. They're hiding us. You dig? But the family, the invisible army, the invisible empire that's out there, it's your job. Well, not really a job, but you have the opportunity to, be a part of this machine, because the machine needs multiple arms. It can't be just my two arms sharing shit and moving things around. This is something the collective could pick up, and then you will begin to see how collectivism is the key. And collectivism is a magical principle inside of the chaos theory of the internet. It's the collective principle. There's a formula that's basically being utilized by certain people in order to win. This is about creating order out of chaos. Let me see if I got the book right here. This book is retarded, yo. Nah, I don't got it. So it's mad. It's all the way over there, and I don't. But yeah, you know, it's very. We live in a very interesting times. Don't ever let anybody talk you out of it. Don't ever let anybody try to coerce your mind or your brain, the vast neural network that you have, your imagination that stretches limitless. Do not allow anybody to turn off your faucet. Continue to drip, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Continue to think big. Continue to think outside of the confines of whatever environment that you might be in right now. You might be in a 4x4 box. You might be in a motherfucking shoe, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Or you may be in a high rise mansion overlooking all of it, right? Think big. Think big, because there's people out here that are thinking big. It's niggas that are on lean right now thinking big, and they're out here winning. It's thoughts on the radio that are out here winning. You know what I mean? It's ex strippers out here winning. It's dudes that can't even mumble, they can't even pronounce a full sentence. They're winning. You understand? It's people who came from shanty towns, my nigga, mud huts, winning. You dig? Don't let these people lap us. Don't let the knuckle draggers drag past us. You know what I'm saying? We need to fly like dragons. Like, we have not tapped into our superpowers collectively, nigga. I know the work that I do, and I know when I link up with, I know when I link up with other, light beings or sentient light beings, or what Queen Dion be called us light workers. I don't necessarily identify as a light worker per se. You know, I'm more of a, I tell people I'm more archangel than I'm angel, you know. But it is what it is. I'm living out my purpose. You know what I'm saying? I'm being who I'm supposed to be, you know. But I'm always willing to change because what's constant? Change, right? The only thing constant is change. So you don't stay rigid. You're fluid like the water. You have to be, you have to drift like the air as well. You have to be adaptable. You know what I'm talking about? One thing about one innate quality of Scorpios is that we're naturally adaptable beings. We can conform and we can adapt and we can change for the better, of course. And I'm not saying we could shed skin. We can transform. Our superpower is our resurrection. The same shit that Wolverine had. That's a trait that's one of our powers. You dig? Does that apply to Scorpio rising? Yeah, I believe so. You know? So embrace change, look for change, give out change, save change. But overall, know that change is inevitable. And when you see things change, don't always be in so much fear or don't always be in so much disbelief because these are things that happen. This is still a centrifugal cycle though. Shit is changing to get back to where it left and whatnot. It's not changing all the way to be something completely different. It's actually changing to get back to some shit that it was before, just on a new level. So it's just know walking in life that nothing is going this way. It's going this way. No, nothing is gonna leave you, my nigga. You're not. You don't have to worry about something taking off and you being left behind. It's all centrifugal. It all comes back around. You feel me? You could lay up for 50 years and come back to this bitch and this shit will repeat itself. It's gonna loop until we break that, until that loop gets broken. It's going to loop. I just showed you just now with the 70s, my nigga. Nigga, it's a huge loop. Yeah, energy never dies. It just transmutates. So the energy is transmuting, is transmutating. So why don't we control the energy? Energy, energy, energy. Why don't we tap into the energy, 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 energy? Hey, that was one of the hooks that can't buy the body. Energy, energy, energy. I got a secret identity called energy. So yeah, but it is what it is, man. But it is late though. I have to be mindful of that. And we had a very good conversation tonight. You dig? But I do have some things that I need to do. I'm a night owl. I do a lot of my work in the witching hour. So I gotta prepare to witch. I gotta prepare to cook up. We'll be back on Thursday, third eye Thursday. Yeah. And we'll continue this conversation. Like this conversation that we had today was basically, we was just chopping it up. But we have a lot of things to talk about. Like I said, I will be launching the date, but prepare. It will be at the end of the month. Everybody who's attended a live stream that I've done before, I'll be sending you the trailer and the email, the flyer for the event, so you have first dibs to it, of course. Um, and then we'll take it from there. You know what I'm saying? We'll take it from there. All right. And then I also have some dates that I'm gonna share with the family that we've been booking and whatnot. You know, we've been booking some things. Will you share your full 2020 ascension? Yeah, I will. I'll do that on Black Magic though. I'm not gonna do that here. I'm gonna share the full ascension, I believe, on Black Magic with Brother Rich. But in the lecture that I'll be doing on this platform, I will have further research that I've done, the extension to what I've done in the ascension, because I moved on with newer research. So I'll be presenting that. Okay, you know. So with that being said, love and light to the family. Thank you everybody for the cash apps and the tips for the food, for the plate that we all sat down and ate tonight. Um, Kings County, of course. I need y'all to support us. You know, this is my only clothing line. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm not in the streets because it's winter time, so we're doing more manufacturing. So that means things are moving faster. You dig? And we got a whole bunch of new designs. Hold on, let me show y'all some things, man. This is my commercial until I get the technology to slide a commercial in there. I got the goodies. I used to come out the polo store with racks like this, but now I got my own shit. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, all of this stuff is on the site. You know, we got some new arrivals. Holiday 2000 and Black Friday is coming up. We're gonna have pop-up shops in New York City. I'll let everybody in New York know about that. Pop-up shops is coming for Black Friday and tings and tings. You know, with my people. Yeah, big drip. Hey, big drip. I fell in love with a big. Hey. A big spit. I give a fuck you big with. Couple chicks I get lit with. Hey. Yeah, go to Kings County and get you copy a hoodie. It's hoodie season, right? Hoodie season, right? Go get your hoodies, y'all. Oh, and we got sweatsuits. We got the whole suit. You know what I'm talking about? We got top and bottoms. We got joggers, y'all. Right? We got that Nipsey blue right there. That Nipsey Royal blue. That blue paisley. We got that good blue paisley. And we global. Don't fuck with it. We global, baby. And we global. I ain't playing. Shout out to China. Shout out to the Mongolians. Yeah. Yeah, we got the fire new colorways. You know what I'm talking about? So we working over here, right? We cooking. We in the kitchen. We being creative. Like I said, you know, nothing remains the same. So I look forward to seeing some of y'all in some of this fresh gear, cause I can't be the only supermodel running around making this shit do what it do. You know what I'm talking about? Some of y'all got to take that claim. You know, y'all got to get your collection and whatnot. I can't be the only one out here bodying shit. So hit us up. I see y'all on Thursday. Love and light to the family. Stay focused. Stay dangerous. You know what I'm talking about? And just stay ready. Peace.